War Against the White Man. Geronimo, in his own words, The Hidden History. Written by Geronimo. Narrated by Geoffrey Giuliano.
The great Indian chief Geronimo, meaning the one who yawns, was born in June of 1829. He was a well-known Apache leader who led his people's defense of their homeland against the military might of the United States. For generations, the Apaches had resisted white colonization of their homeland in the Southwest by both the Spaniards and North Americans. Geronimo continued the tradition of his ancestors from the day he was admitted to the Warriors' Council in 1846 and saw significant battle. He was further embittered by the death of his mother, wife, and children at the hands of Mexicans in 1858. He then rose to the leadership of a band of great warriors by exhibiting extraordinary courage, determination, and skill in successive raids of vengeance upon the Mexicans. In 1874, some 4,000 Apaches were forcibly moved by U.S. authorities to a reservation at San Carlos, a barren wasteland in East Arizona. In the early 1870s, Lieutenant Colonel George F. Crook, commander of the Department of Arizona, had succeeded in establishing relative peace in the territory. The management of his successors, however, was disastrous, and spurred by Geronimo, hundreds of Apaches left the reservation to resume their war against the whites. In 1882, Crook was recalled to Arizona to conduct a campaign against the Indians. Geronimo surrendered in January of 1884, only to take flight from the San Carlos reservation in May of 1985, accompanied by 35 men, 8 boys, and 101 women. Crook threw his best men into the campaign, and some 10 months later, on March 27, 1886, Geronimo again surrendered in Sonora. Near the border, however, fearing that they would be murdered once they crossed into U.S. territory, Geronimo and a small band bolted. As a result, Brigadier General Nelson A. Miles replaced Crook as commander on April 2nd. During this campaign, no fewer than 5,000 white soldiers and 500 Indians were employed at various times in the apprehension of Geronimo's small band. 5 months and 1,645 miles later, Geronimo was tracked to his camp in the Sonora Mountains. At a conference held on September 3, 1886, at Skeleton Canyon in Arizona, Miles introduced Geronimo to surrender once again, promising him that, after an indefinite exile in Florida, he and his followers would be permitted to return to Arizona. The promise was not kept. Geronimo and his fellow prisoners were put at hard labor, and it was May 1887 before he saw his family again. Moved to Fort Sill in Oklahoma Territory, in 1894, he at first attempted to take the white man's road. He farmed and joined the Dutch Reformed Church, which expelled him because of his inability to resist gambling. He never saw Arizona again, but by special permission of the War Department, he was allowed to sell photographs of himself and his handiwork at expositions. Before he died, he dictated to S.S. Barrett his autobiography, this book. Today, the name Geronimo signifies bravery, fidelity, and faith. Faith in his tribe, faith in his nation, and faith in the Indian way of life. This is his story.
Because he has given me permission to tell my story, because he has read that story and knows Sample complete. Ready to continue?